And it is indeed a welcome to everybody jumping to the fire. Ron Hall here. It is Sunday night. We hope everybody has been safe through all the bad weather the last few days because it sucked. Hello, Kim. We'll be joined shortly by Ringgold City Council member Rhonda Bishop Swaney. And I'm looking forward to that. This morning, storms came through. We had storms day before yesterday. It was a mess, and don't know. I think it's supposed to cool down some this week, which I really am not looking forward to. I am not a fan of cold weather. Never have been, never will be. But we're going to talk to Rhonda goings on down in Ringgold and her other side hustle, as everybody calls a second money earning gig these days. And then we're going to, and I see Rhonda there, I see that smiling face, and I've got a special treat for her. Let's bring Rhonda in. There's my
Hi.
Hi, Rhonda.
Wow, look at you.
Look where we're at.
You are.
This is where Rhonda and I are we're going to take off. Once COVID is all over, Rhonda and I are going to go away, and we are in Maui. That's where we're at tonight. We are in Maui thanks to my buddy who used to play for the Chattanooga Mocs. His dad used to be the coach of the Chattanooga Mocs, Rodney Allison, his son Sloan, who is now a realtor in Maui.
I've been there.
I mean, you play college football. What else are you going to do? You're going to move to Hawaii and become a realtor.
Smart.
And this is one of the properties he just sold. Can you imagine waking up every morning and
we're in the wrong business.
Yes, we are, but we're going, and I'll bring coffee to the deck.
You know, I've been there. I went there when I was a little girl. My dad took us.
Oh, I mean, I wonder if they have like a cruise that would go from Cali to Hawaii.
You don't fly at all?
I do, but it terrifies me. I used to not mind flying at all. And then something happened. And now I just have this fear. You're 5 or 6 miles up in the air, and you've just got a little bit of stuff under you. What happens if the bottom falls out?
You will be gone before you know it.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, a lot of people might be happy because of that.
Oh, boo. 6 years ago, my sister, who was terrified of flying, and myself and my mom, we flew to Argentina. That woman sat straight up in an airplane seat for 16 hours straight, never went to sleep.
Oh, my.
I will never fly with her again.
Okay, you'll have to hold on to me or whatever.
I wanted to slip her something in a drink. If I ever fly with her again, she's going to be done like the A team used to do, Mr. T. She's going to be out.
That might not be a bad idea whatsoever. So what's happening? What's happening down in Ringgold?
There is so much going on. You know, the Georgia legislature just got out, and they have done a lot, made a lot of changes, a lot of positives, a lot that is not being received well. And as weird as this may sound, a lot of the things that they do trickle down to small cities, even like Ringgold. Um, you know, they've passed some things that we have been watching, and we're hoping to be able to grab a hold of some of the things that they've passed and hopefully change some ordinances in our city as well. So a lot of really fun, exciting, and then there's always the negative. On There's positives and negatives to a lot of stuff, but lots of really cool things coming, hopefully, down the pike soon.
Did I see where Ringgold is going to get something, and correct me if I'm wrong, something very similar to the Chattanooga market or something like that?
Okay, Ringgold has a couple of ladies who decided that they were going to start a farmer's market. And I mean, the leader of that market, her name is Samantha. She has taken this farmer's market idea and just morphed it into food trucks, local artisans, um, music, a lot of different things. And it's going to be happening every single weekend in the city of Ringgold, starting on April the 24th. So it's very, very exciting. It's something that we have never had. And you know, I will say this as the newest elected official on city council. Change in Ringgold is hard. It is very hard. It is like stirring molasses sometimes. But
Because
these ladies banded together.
you have the old guard
Yep.
still down there. And a
Yep.
lot of
And
the smaller towns are like that. They don't want to let go. And I don't know if the right word is,
has to change.
that's why I posted those lyrics this morning from Bob Dylan. The times they are a changing, and we as a society have to be willing to change with the times.
Yeah.
And I see myself every day changing. Maybe too little too late, but
I don't think you can ever think of it as too little too late. I just, I've always intrinsically had this fear of becoming very rigid in my thinking. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it was from growing up around Tennessee Temple. I don't know, but I never wanted to be that person. And I, working with people in politics and being around people who are very rigid in their thinking, even in regard to just like women in leadership positions, it's renewed that inner longing for myself to not ever be rigid in my thinking, because there's always going to be a younger next generation, and it's important to change, and at least keep yourself, especially in regard to a city, keep things that are positive for all age groups. And that's what this group has tried to do, and they have, obviously there's a niche for it because people are really excited about it. And hopefully we will be able to join that with what we do downtown nights, and make once a month an all day event in Ringgold, because we've got some businesses that through the COVID time period have struggled, and they're still struggling, because people have just not been out spending money. Our town has done much better than a lot. In fact, we came out really a lot better than we thought we were going to be, which I'm thankful for that. But attracting people to our town is important, and it's got to be more than just older people. Quilt shows are great. They're wonderful.
And cruise ins are great, but
right? It's a special, it's a group of people that may or may not be spending money locally.
Whereas and I hate to use the term, but if you get a group of millennials, which if you look at the demographics for the Chattanooga market, a lot of them are millennials and they have money. They go to Ringgold. That's more revenue for the city.
It is, and there's some things like spending money on recreational things that it's hard sometimes to change the mindset, but it's happening. And we have a pretty big election coming up in November. We'll have two city council seats that are going to be coming up. And so hopefully we can see some things changing. A couple of things in regard to helping restaurants that were just passed, that the Georgia Senate just passed. One of them is allowing restaurants to deliver alcohol with food purchases. There's a lot of red tape with it. It has to be less than 2 ounces in a mixed drink, and it has to be sealed with in a certain way to indicate that it came from a person that legally can sell alcohol, and it has to be in the back seat. There's all kinds of things, but I feel like that's something that we should allow our restaurants to be able to do. I already know there's going to be quite a bit of pushback in regard to that. Little things like that, I hope that we can see change. Just small things like that could make a big difference for our local restaurants.
You're right. And the thing about it is, Rossville did it, Fort Oglethorpe did it. They wanted to have liquor by the drink, for lack of a better term. They knew that there's still enough of the old mindset that if it came to a referendum, it would get voted down. City councils took it upon themselves. It's now legal because there's still that old mindset of the demon rum. Doesn't come from the restaurants.
No, you're right.
It comes from those places like on Brainerd Road where they don't make people wear masks and they cram as many. Okay, off of my soapbox. But that's where the problem comes from.
I mean, like, we are up 12% this week in COVID cases. 12% in 1 week. What happened? I just saw that. I just saw that on the news. And I was oh my word.
Is it because everybody is taking the attitude like, well, the vaccine's out there now? So,
probably.
And I fully expect Mayor Coppinger to eliminate the mask mandate in Hamilton County before month end. Although it's still running in Hamilton County, anywhere from 60 to 100 cases more each day. Now, I've had mine. I've got one shot. I get the second shot Tuesday. But I think I will still wear a mask for a while when I'm out in public. I mean, and for all those people that prayed for Amy this week, thank you very much. Sorry, Rhonda.
No, how's she doing?
She's doing really well. Monday, we were within hours of losing Amy.
Good grief.
Folks, that's diabetes. That's diabetic acid, keto acid. Ketoacidosis. Basically, your body inside is turning into acid and eating you from the inside out. But they got it. She's home. Okay. But I think I'm going to still kind of lay low for a little bit, but we'll still take our trip. You know, that's still on.
Honestly, I think once you, and all the research points to the fact that once you have that second vaccination, you know, the odds of you being hospitalized are so minuscule. I think you'll be fine. I myself have not gotten the vaccination because I will be straight up honest with you. I still don't have all of my smell and all of my sense of taste back.
You had it.
I know, but I have been really pressed to get the vaccination, and I just am not comfortable doing it until some of these long haul symptoms are gone, if they're ever gone.
I know. And the thing I heard on the news this week, you hear about people who are having just like the flu shot, after their second dose, something like 80% of those reactions are in females.
It's interesting.
Something about the physiology or whatever is causing that flu-like reaction more in females than it is male. Now, with my first one, I felt lethargic for about 3 or 4 hours. And that was it. Now, I am a little apprehensive about the second one, but, I'd kind of like to go back to a semi-normal life.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think
you've got antibodies.
I hope I do, but my daughter got the shot. She, Chloe goes to the University of Georgia, and she got the shot last week at some point. And she said, I was like, she called me after it was already over. I didn't know she was going to get it. And I asked her if she had any, side effects or whatever. And she said, no, just a really sore arm. And that was it. So I was glad for that. But both of my college age kids, Lex is about to graduate from Georgia State, and then Chloe's at the University of Georgia. Both of them were foaming at the mouth to get the vaccine. Zero hesitation. That whole age group, they want it because they want normalcy. They want to be able to be with people and work and, be in classes. So, Chloe's already vaccinated. Crazy.
It really is. I see my son is chiming in. Something about the AstraZeneca being 99.9% effective, but it is not available in the United States. So let's all hop a plane and go to, as Ernest T. Bass used to say, Anglan, Anglan. But right. I am excited about the farmers market coming to Ringgold.
You will.
There's something about fresh fruits and vegetables right there. It's a whole lot healthier. I say that while I smoke a cigar.
Well, we all have our unhealthy habits. Plus they're going to have meat, like organic meat for sale. And I, obviously I don't always buy organic meat because it's expensive, but I would be willing to spend a little extra if I knew it was supporting a farmer or someone local. So that it's, anytime you can support locally grown produce, local farmers of any type, artisans, I'm all for that because I've owned small businesses and I know it is hard to get traction. And it only takes a little bit to kind of catapult you into actually making a living doing those things. So it's going to be fun. Ringgold is a great, great place. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of potential for it to be a really cool place to hang out. And so we're just trying to move it that direction. And
Now, I don't want to surprise you. I don't want to, and I should have mentioned this to you earlier today. You were talking about the state legislature, and there's one thing that they push through that is getting a lot of blowback across the country. One of them, well, we all know what it is. It's all the new regulations with voting. And saw a news report this morning. The Major League All-Star game is supposed to be in Atlanta this year. Now, the Major League Baseball Players Association is considering boycotting the All-Star game because of that vote.
yeah, you know, I have a little bit of a vested interest in all of that because the movie industry, that's where Lex makes his living. That's how he pays his rent. And and I am watching and wondering what some of these movie production, because they came in droves during COVID to Atlanta because our state wasn't shut down. So these college kids and these young actors and actresses and sound people and production people, they've been getting work hand over fist. I mean, Lex has stayed very, very busy during COVID. And now that has been pushed through, and the whole debacle of, the one representative knocking on the door, trying to get into witness, the logistics and the optics of that, just, they look horrible. So I'm really hoping that the movie industry doesn't start pulling out of the state of Georgia.
You look at the money just in the Noonan area from The Walking Dead that's been there forever. Its entire run has been filmed in Georgia. And I'm really curious because today's let's get irritated du jour is because Nike is coming out with a Lil Nas shoe that's got blood in it and a pentagram, and everybody's getting bent out of shape. Don't buy it. If you don't like the television show, change channel. Boycotts those kind of boycotts don't work. But with what happened in Atlanta, the blowback from people who don't live in Georgia just makes it's like, you use the right term, the optics look bad. And Georgia doesn't need that.
No. And it's amazing how they don't, they get paid really good money. They have a lot of people surrounding them that their entire job is to watch the optics of what something looks like. And you want to say, okay, how did you miss this boat? Because, there were some good things in there. And I know we may disagree and people may disagree, but, should we have drop boxes? I don't know. Should we
Yeah.
make, but there were other things like, elected officials having the power to have a board that can remove people who have been over elections because of, very vague reasons. I don't know that I agree with that. There's a couple of people that are in in elected positions that I wouldn't trust to babysit Lulu, who is my Wheaton Terrier, for an hour and a half.
Huh. I know one of them.
I know one. I know you do.
And
I don't trust them. I've seen them in action. I've experienced them in action. and they're on ethics committees.
Huh.
So there are some
Interesting.
things. Yeah. I talked to somebody this past week and I thought, you know what? I'm going to write a book. When
Please
I'm
do.
out of North Georgia politics, I'm going to write a book.
I tell you what, I have always said I would never move back to Georgia. I may have to, just to make sure that you get elected.
I don't know that I will run again. We'll see. Everything I do full out 100%.
Yep.
My dad even said, Rhonda, you don't ever do anything halfway, and that's the truth. So I don't know that I'll run again. We'll see.
I'll beg.
If people want me to do it again and they feel like I'm a good representative of what they want, then I will. But it is getting harder and harder and harder to be quiet. I'm putting I could put my hand on a Bible tonight and tell you that every other week I either get a message, a text, or a phone call from an elected official telling me why I shouldn't have said something because it makes them look bad.
Guess what? They're not your
I'm
political
sorry.
advisor.
Here's
And I work.
here's some advice. Don't do things that make you look bad.
I mean, and I back in whatever year it was, I took a leave of absence from my job to work for the master politician, the greatest politician of my lifetime, Bill Clinton.
You did?
I worked the campaign here in Chattanooga.
I never knew that.
And I loved every minute of it.
I never knew that.
You know, local politics. Now, also, I wanted to check in, and I used the term side hustle with your other venture. How is it going?
Well, it is going well. I am trying to keep a handle on the online dating coaching. You know, now that COVID restrictions are lifting and people are looking at getting back out there and putting themselves back out there. And so it's going really well. I don't put enough time into advertising and really posting about it because I'm still trying to help the people who have asked for help. And we're seeing great results. I enjoy helping people. I really do, and in a lot of different capacities. So, and it's interesting to be able to connect people, help them be able to connect. And I help people write online dating app their profiles, and to have people get back with you and say, okay, that made a big difference. I've had 4 or 5 conversations with people that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, just by coaching people through what not to say in a nobody wants to know why your marriage went bad in a dating app profile.
No.
And sometimes I feel badly that I'm actually making money by telling people what I feel like should be common sense, but it's going well, and
I'm
enjoy
glad.
it. I enjoy
Because
it.
I had a couple of people chime in a couple of weeks ago that said, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?
There's
No,
enough market to do it.
no, I'm not. No, I'm talking about do the, online stuff.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
fine. I'm fine. One day some lady will say, you're it. And that'll be the end of it.
It is very frustrating to be on an app and feel like you are wasting time. And there are a lot of people on there that waste other people's time. And so I think to have a little bit of input on how to watch for that is smart. And, I've made a lot of really good friends on dating apps, none that I keep contact with. But there's some nice people out there. There really are. But it can be aggravating, frustrating, and especially someone like me who's very type A and, direct and to the point. The banter that you get back and forth from a dating app, that's exhausting. It can be exhausting. So it's fun to help people navigate that world. It really is. I also teach a boot camp, an exercise boot camp 2 nights a week. I started that back up in like February, maybe January, February. And that's been fun, but that's something that I'm probably giving up because I have a lot of things going, and it's time to give something up. Too much. Too
Oh,
much.
that was just like me when I dropped the high school football stuff, when I stopped my association with youth sports. It was, I mean, at a certain point, you got to go, I'm already stretched thin.
Yeah.
I need to back up and take a little bit of, here we go with the air quotes, me time.
It's true though.
But you always know, anytime you've got something going on like that, shoot me some kind of artwork or whatever that we can add to the opening and the closing of the show, because my video guy is really cheap. He's really, really cheap. He's my son. And he does all of my video stuff for me. And
how do you get him to do that? Because when I was running
I'm
for
Dad.
office, and I asked Lex to help me with, he has all this camera equipment, and his major in college is, like movies and sound production and all of this crap. Do you think that child ever helped me? No. I think it's because he's a Democrat and he just he doesn't believe in my ideals sometimes.
Oh, well, you just say the word. My son, Christopher, is self-taught.
He does a great job. I've seen your intro.
He is self-taught. What else is a brain-damaged former professional wrestler supposed to do? Learn how to do video.
Speaking of professional wrestling, do you know Slade's going to WrestleMania in Tampa in a couple of weeks with his dad?
That's not fair.
I know, right?
I know.
So excited.
I would almost give, huh?
I didn't know your son did that.
Yep, he did. And post-concussion and knee injuries put an end to his career. He had thought about coming back, and I reached out to Kurt Angle, and Kurt said, post-concussion is nothing you mess with. He doesn't need to get back in the ring because the first bump he takes could just aggravate it again. And it was a years long process for those symptoms to go away.
Oh, he must have had a bad concussion.
He had several bad concussions because Christopher was the old Mick Foley type who would take those shots to the head with a chair and not block them like you're supposed to. He would take the shot clean. And after a while, but he's self-taught. So you just yell at me anytime you want something put together, and Christopher will do it. I'm blessed. I can't get online like a lot of people. Well, look at my son just became a doctor. I don't care that your kid just became a doctor. Just say you have a good kid, period.
Yes.
Just say you have.
a heart for people and is just a good human being.
Yeah,
I'll
I
take
mean,
that any day.
that's all I want. And I've got, yeah, my kids will tell you, if you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket, I am R. Lee Ermey. I am the gunnery sergeant. That I was really tough on my kids.
Yeah.
And despite that, nobody's got a bigger heart than my daughter. By the way, everybody, she's still sober.
That's amazing.
Through all of this crap, she's still sober.
Good for her. That's
and
awesome.
Christopher enjoys the married life in Red Bank. More power to him. But,
right?
You know, just anytime you want something like that, just yell. He'll do it.
Thank you. That is very kind. Very kind. I appreciate that. Hopefully I'm giving something up soon though. It's got to happen at probably next week. No, this week. Is today Sunday? Today is Sunday. Yes, it's got to happen by the end of the month because I need to do some things that I want to do, kind of like what you were saying, me time, and get back to the gym and do, things that, because as you get older, you notice how you get too many things on your plate. You get weird.
Yeah, because tonight I will break out the coconut cream pie from the refrigerator at 9 o'clock and watch Shameless.
I have never seen that.
Oh, you got to binge watch it. They're in their final season.
Mm-hmm.
And it is family dysfunction at its best.
My kids tell me often that I'm Mrs. Goldberg off the Goldbergs, and I've never seen that show, but I don't think it's a compliment at all.
I'm not going to tell you what my kids call me sometime because, well, the FCC does not regulate what happens here, but you can only imagine. But Rhonda, thank you so much. You are
precious.
Don't forget, we got a trip to go on real soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
I think Maui looks good. I may have to fly out there.
We'll put something in your drink. You'll be fine.
We'll have to think of what. I'll just take tranquilizers because God knows I'm working on 40 years of sobriety and,
Yes.
I don't.
You'll just be Weekend at Bernie's on the airplane.
There we go. Yeah. That was one of the best memes of the entire political season.
Yes.
Was when they photoshopped Bernie Sanders into the movie poster.
Hilarious.
I mean, it's kind of like you people. I want to tell people, would you quit posting Sam Elliott memes? Because Sam Elliott is one of the most, I don't want to say liberal, but he's one of the most moderate people you'll ever meet. He is not Ted Cruz right-wing conservatism.
Brother. Oh, dear.
Herman Munster, senator from Texas.
I have a hard time with him. I really do. He doesn't set well in my.
He's just, well, and I'll leave you with this. Guess who former President Trump is starting to push for the nomination in 4 years? Ron DeSantis from Florida.
Yikes. Have you driven to Florida lately?
No. I thought about moving back. I actually gave some thought to moving back. I am going right now. I'm tentatively scheduled to go to Tampa in October for a big, people out there don't even know what JCs are. There used to be this great civic organization called the JCs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having a reunion of Florida JCs down in Tampa in October.
Fine.
And Yeah, I think there was one JC conference because we would have conventions every quarter, and then one big year-end convention, and one winter conference in Panama City. On Saturday night, more than 300 kegs of beer were consumed.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
And these are doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, whatever, who on the weekend they would let their hair down and get hammered. Rhonda, thank you so much. I will be in touch during the week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. What a great human being. What a great human being, Rhonda Bishop Swaney. One of my favorite, if not the favorite person in the world. Couple of things I want to hit on tonight. And I see everybody out there. Hello, Tina. Hello, Diane. And I see my son out there. Yesterday, there was a football game at Finley Stadium, and there were people in the house. Over 3,000 people. Game started at noon, didn't end until almost 5:30 due to several lightning delays. Mocs went into the game ranked number 9 in America. They lost because 21 of 22 starters didn't play. And there are people out there, as some folks used to call them, the Legion of the Miserable, who are complaining about that. Yes, the Mocs lost to to Mercer. And I bet Mr. Know-It-All's already had a fit with that I, said Furman first, but it was Mercer. And there are even some former players chastising Coach Wright for doing that. Spring football means absolutely nothing. They lost one of the best interior linemen in the country last week, Muskelly. Don't know when he'll be back. It was a devastating injury. Now, who's to say that injury wouldn't have happened in the fall? But when you've not really had the opportunity to train like you should for college football, because the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, decided that FCS and the lower divisions would play spring football for a championship. Number of teams in the playoffs have been reduced. Most years, it's 24 teams make the playoffs. This year, it's only going to be 16. Some programs opted out of playing in the spring. But the Southern Conference decided we're going to have a spring season. Spring season is going to end, and then you're going to have May and June off, and then get ready for the fall season and those 11 games. You're hurting the product by having spring football. The Mocs have proven that their number ones, first teamers, can beat anybody. Why not finish out the spring season? Let your 2s and 3s and scout team players get some game experience, because you're not having real spring practice. You're having regular season practice, which is entirely different. So if for the remainder of the season, Coach Wright wants to play 2s and 3s, so be it. And you people who are complaining about it, shut your freaking pie hole. It's that simple. You're either a Mocs fan or you're not. And then don't get on social media claiming you know everything there is to know about the program. There's nothing worse than a know-it-all who doesn't know shit from Shinola. But I stand behind the decisions that Coach Wright has made, and I back my Mocs. Thursday afternoon, I got a text from my friend, Corey Belanzi, who is in the sports information or what sports communications, whatever you want to call it, department with Chattanooga Mocs. He is the university contact for softball, volleyball, beach volleyball. And he texted asking how comfortable I would feel coming to Frost yesterday, or Thursday. He said coming Saturday and doing the first game of the doubleheader against Western Carolina. I've had my first vaccination, so there was a certain comfort level there. I knew the press box would be sparsely manned. That's just the way it is. It would be just Chattanooga Mocs staff, that is marketing, scoreboard operator, Corey, and the public address announcer. That's it. Any media people, they had tables set up outside at Frost Stadium. So I did it. I said, yeah, I'll do it. So yesterday was my first time behind a microphone at a sports event in over a year. Now, part of this was I told Corey, don't tell anybody. Let it be a surprise. Said, oh, yeah, that's the plan. We're not going to tell anybody. Because I miss those young ladies that play for the Mocs softball team. So I get there. Go to the press box, and about 40 minutes before the first pitch is supposed to take place, I do a mic check. Team's out on the field, loosening up, warming up, organized, you know, the way they do things pregame. And so I decided to do a mic check. And testing 1, 2, 3. And then I hear this loud, Ron's back. It's Ron. He's back. Well, all I can tell you was that a couple of little tears got into my eyes then. I was as nervous could be because it had been over a year. And there may be video of that's out there before the end of the coming week. But to know that the team missed you gets you right here. And that will never be replicated. So to Corey, Coach Reed, Coach Kilgore, and to the team, thank you. Made an old man feel good. Really, really good. But I will not be back this season unless because Grayson Shook from Heritage High School is covering during my quote unquote COVID absence. Well, there was a football game yesterday, so they had to have somebody to do softball. But right before I'm getting ready to introduce the starting lineups, the skies opened up and here came rain. Game was rained out. And that's the extent of my return to the microphone. But it was nice that I was missed. So now it is on to May the 4th and opening night for the Chattanooga Lookouts. Remember, tickets go on sale tomorrow. And if you have not seen it yet, they did release some of the promotions that are going to take place during the first 18 games, but they also let everyone know that there will not be a used car night this year. There will not be a used car night this year. But what there will be is used car Saturday nights. Every Saturday night home game, Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union and the Chattanooga Lookouts, somebody's going to get a car. Now, how cool is that? But tickets for the first 18 games go on sale tomorrow at lookouts.com. And speaking of the Lookouts, I'm going to reach out. He's been a guest on here a couple of times, Jaravella Wright, our Aussie, and maybe we can get him to come in next Sunday night. Folks, that is going to wrap it up. One little bit of housekeeping here. Last Sunday night, we were suddenly blocked by Universal Music Group for a copyright violation. Guess what? Once again, I beat back the bad guys and they released the hold on the Facebook Live portion of Jump Into the Fire. We will see you next Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Make it a fantabulous week. Thank you, Rhonda Bishop Swaney. You are a sweetheart beyond belief. Until next Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
Oh, look at me. I'm rambling again. Well, I hope you folks enjoyed yourselves. Catch you later on down the trail. Say, friend, you got any more of that good sarsaparilla?
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.